and we show you the steps that I did. There was only a couple of steps, so I'll bring you a bit closer. So we have olive oil, 20 grams of olive oil, place it into your bowl. Here's the next button, 200 grams of brown onions or red onions cut into wedges. So it's just wedges. I just cut one onion into 6 wedges. It's asking to place the splash guard onto the mixing bowl lid. So this is the splash guard. It goes onto the lid. It is a safety feature for the TM6. It's for the guided recipes only because we're using the high heat function to saute the onions. It's asking us to put the splash guard on and it's asking us to press the done. So I press the done. Next step is 16 minutes and I just turn the select and it will saute my onions. So that's finished. I'll show you what it looks like.
Now, this particular function can be done in the TM5, but you won't get the browning effect that you get here. So those that have the 5 and those that have the 31, you can still saute, but you can see there with the TM6, you can actually brown things now. Look at that. Helen, would you be able to like lift up some with a spoon and just bring it closer to the camera so we can all see? So it does now brown your
pop it into a bowl.
Onions. Yep. Okay. And you can do this also with meats as well. So you can brown all your chicken, you can brown your pork. So when we're making some things today, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But, you know, you can do a quick gyros pork style thing. And oh, look at that. So really caramelized and lovely and brown. That's beautiful, Helen. Now, what would that go with? Perhaps maybe the next thing you're making.
Absolutely. Well, I actually tested this recipe out today a bit earlier because I haven't made them before. Wanted to test it out just to see how I went. And we had them for lunch with, what was it? We had egg and bacon sandwiches with the onions inside. Absolutely beautiful.
Excellent. Can I just interrupt, Helen? Someone's just asked in the chat box, and I believe it is in the actual recipe, but when you're browning your onions, what's the maximum amount you can do? There is 2 different recipes for 2 different amounts, isn't there?
There is. This one was the 200 grams. I don't remember what the other one is. I'll have a look at it later and I'll pop it into the chat box.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Just to finish off this recipe, it does actually say that if desired, you can then chop your onions for 3 seconds, but I didn't want to do that. I just like them exactly how they are here. And I'm going to eat them with my sous vide steaks. So, Kirsten, if you want to switch over to my phone, I will take you over and show you how to do the sous vide steak.
Sure. And just while we are doing that, just talking about the browning of onions in the Thermomix. So you could, you could do your bacon and things like that. So when you're on your fry pan and it's the fat splashing everywhere or the oil is splashing everywhere, that's where it's really good with the high heat in the Thermomix because you're keeping it all contained. And then once you've done all that, you just put it on pre-clean and you're done. Okay, go for it, Helen.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
We can. Now, all we can see at the moment is your vacuum sealer and everything there. Is that what we're meant to be on?
That's correct. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to use to do my...
Right, perfect.
So I like to use these vacuum seal bags that do come from the Thermomix mix shop. So I purchased vacuum sealer. Comes in this box. This is the actual vacuum and it came with 5 sealer. So they are, if you do want to purchase them, they are $49.95 from the mix shop. If you run out of bags, you can buy 10 bags for $14.95 as well. Also, I will need to use my blade cover for this recipe. So the blade covers also are available from the mix shop. They are $34.95. So
the blade covers are really good for slow cooking and things like that as well. And the reason why you have the blade cover is so things don't sit on the blades. And obviously when you're doing sous vide, you don't want those plastic bags to hit the blades at all.
Thank you for that. It gave me time to go and grab my steak.
No worries.
Okay, so this recipe calls for 4 steaks, but I'm only going to do 2 because it's only for my husband and myself. So I have done only 2 before and it works perfectly fine. So 4 steaks, all you need to do is season all of them with some salt and some pepper.
Lovely. Now, somebody, I think it was Debbie, just asked, can you buy sous vide bags from Coles or Woolies or supermarkets? You can buy sous vide bags pretty much anywhere. You could even, if you didn't have the sous vide bags, just a normal, make sure they're BPA free, but the snap lock bags, you could also use them and just kind of squish the air out as much as possible.
Right. I was going to mention that. Thank you. You did that for me. Also, I just needed to put on a sprig of thyme in each of those. Now, what you need to do is get your sous vide bag. Now, I have washed my hands, so I'm just going to use my hands. We're going to put each steak side by side into the bag. Just move that out the way. Side by side in the bag, using my little clip that came with the vacuum sealer. I'm going to close up my bag.
What? Hey?
I think that worked because I slipped up the end. Pop it onto the little disc here. Hopefully it's will work because when I practiced today it didn't. But then I got it there. And just press it and it's just going to suck out all the air. And it stops when it's done.
That is, I love these. And also you don't have to use them just for cooking. So avocados, I have found, you know how they go super brown. So once you've cut into your avocado, you just cut it in half or whatever, you've got half left over. You can use the vacuum sealed bags and then pop it in there and seal it. And that way it won't go brown in your fridge. So it does keep for a lot longer. And
this recipe is calling for steak. So I'm using beef fillets. It does say beef fillets, so that's what I'm using. But these can be used for fruit. They can be used for vegetables. Sous vide is not just steak. Now, the recipe on Cookie Doo is going to tell you to insert the blade cover. So use my blade cover. Just pop it until you can feel it when it is locked in. It will resist just slightly. So I mean, it can be easily pulled out. Insert my blade cover. What am I going to do? Add water. Okay, so I pop my steak in. I then add water to fully submerge my steak.
And that's cold water, isn't it, Helen?
Just cold water. But you're not going above the maximum fill line. Then it's going to task me to take the bag out. And add 30 grams of lemon juice.
Now, the reason why we're adding the lemon juice, and this is super important, and it does it for the fermenting process as well when you're making yogurt and things like that. Adding that acidity is going to stop, because we're cooking for a long time and the blades aren't moving and it's kind of just sitting there. We don't want our bowl to rust. So by putting the lemon in there, it just stops, I don't know, whatever, I'm not scientifically minded, but whatever that process is, so it will stop that. So do make sure that you put your lemon juice in there.
I think it's oxidization.
Yeah, that's the word. Thanks, Helen.
Okay. So I'll pop the lid on. then you pop that back onto your machine, or if it was already on your machine, you just put in the lid on, turning the dial, and it's going to heat the water for 15 minutes. Once that's finished, I'm going to take your lid off. You're going to put your bag back into the water using tongs because the water will now be hot. So pop it back in there, making sure that it is fully submerged and not coming up above the maximum later line. And turn the dial, and it will sous vide for an hour and a half. Once that's finished, you're then going to remove your bag again using the tongs because the water will be hot. Then it'll ask you to continue with the recipe, but I'm not going to continue with the recipe because I'm not going to make the sauce. So it is with a Bernese sauce, but I'm not going to do it because I have my onions. So what I need to do now that these are cooked, take them out of the bag and using a paper towel, which I used before because I spilled something, so I can't do it. With a paper towel, pat them dry because it will be moist in there because it, what did it do? It steamed them almost. So you pat them dry on both sides, and then you're going to fry them in a pan, 40 seconds, and all you're doing is browning the outside. You're not cooking it any further, you're just browning the outside. So it looks pretty because it's going to look probably a little bit grey when it comes out of the bag.
Yeah, so you wouldn't want to serve it without doing it at that quick 40 seconds because the look of it isn't ideal, but when you taste it and cut through it, now I know that there's quite a few of you on here that have already done it and absolutely swear by it. So when it comes out, you just give it that quick char grill on each side and then serve it. And it has retained all those beautiful juices throughout the steak, and it's really lovely.
Correct. And that is it. That is all that you need to do the sous vide rare steak.
Thank you for that, Helen. So as I said, you don't need to be seeing, next with putting things in and all of that. So this is what we're sort of aiming at today, is just showing you different things. And we've just had Linda comment and saying, thanks for that, because I've been too scared to try it. And now I've seen the process, I'll give it a go. So thank you, Helen, for showing everybody how to do that. It's awesome. Another question we had in the chat box was, does it matter how many steaks that you put in the bag?
Well, the recipe is for 4 steaks and there's 2 steaks in each bag. So I'm just doing 2 steaks. So I'm just putting 1 bag into the bowl.
Okay, excellent. All right. Well, I think we might head over to the lovely Michelle in Inverloch. So I will just replace. There we are. Hi, how are you going, Michelle?
Really good, thanks. Thanks everyone for joining us. So I hope you are all enjoying this really cold weather that we're experiencing today in particular. I think it's our coldest day yet. But today I've chosen to show you how to make a no-fail mashed potato. And who here has actually tried to make a mashed potato in your Thermi and it's been a total mess, it's been gooey, it's just been sloppy? Well, actually, that was my experience when I first bought my Thermomix. And what I found is that, well, I thought that I would never try it again. But what I found is that you can find recipes across many platforms, not just Cookie Do if you've got your TN6, but you can find it in the Skinny Mixes recipes, the Thermomix community recipe page, or just Google something that you'd like to make and type in Thermomix and it will come up with all sorts of alternatives. Now, I found this recipe and it's really simple. It can be altered really easily and it's really quick to make. You can add and use any potatoes, peeled or unpeeled. Unpeeled is obviously quicker. It's more nutritious. And what I actually found interesting today when I was preparing for today's cook-up was that I lost almost 100 grams of the potato just in peel. So if you're running low on spuds, just put the whole potato in. And I ended up using 5 instead of 4 potatoes for a 2 to 3 serving portion of your mashed potato. So this can be any Thermomix, although it's not a TM or a Cookie Do recipe, all you need to do is pre-measure your ingredients and then start the recipe. Now, a couple of tips. It's a really easy one. It's just got 4 ingredients in this one, but you can add Parmesan cheese and chives. Just add your cheese at the end and just stir it in. Or you can add garlic, and I add garlic to everything that I make. So another really great tip is if you have any intolerances, I've read in the comments in this particular recipe that you can use cashew milk. What else you can use rice milk. You can add half cream, half milk, and that's exactly what I'm going to do today. So I'll just get started quite quickly in this recipe. I have pre-measured everything to make the mashed potato. So it's just 4 ingredients for you. And I've pre-weighed. What you need to do is cut your potatoes quite small, because you do not need a steaming basket with your machine at all. So you can just pour it straight into your jug. So I have 500 grams of potatoes. And all you're going to do is literally cook your potatoes with your milk, which is 125 grams. Now I've used half cream and half milk. I'm just going to pour that into my jug.
And I may have missed this, Michelle, but what potatoes did you use today?
To be honest, I don't know. Hang on a sec.
So I do the same recipe that Michelle is doing today. I do the same one for our household, and I actually use the red potatoes. So well, I think,
and the red are perfect, Kirsten. And I love leaving the peels on in the red potato. But because I was making these today, just to show you the beautiful consistency of it at the end, I thought I'd just use a white potato, and that's what I've peeled.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So all we're going to do with this is cook it for 15 minutes on 100 degrees on speed 1.
Awesome. So we're going to come back to Michelle, but some fantastic tips in there. And I know that there's a lot of you out there that have tried mashed potato before, and you've had the problems where it's come out chunky, because one thing in that you do have to check with your mash is that before you go to mash it, it is actually cooked. So don't go to mash your potato unless it is already kind of mashing itself. That's a really big tip. And there's others of you that have gone too far with your mashing and it's been like glue. And yeah, that's not a nice consistency to have. But Michelle's going to show us the end result. So I think we're heading over to me. So Helen, would you mind spotlighting myself, please? And I'm going to show us the quick flatbreads.
So we're going to you and not Wendy?
Oh, we are. Wendy. There we go. I can't even read. New glasses today.
Hi, everyone. I was wondering what was going on then. That's all good. Hello from sunny Parkdale. Well, not so sunny today with the clouds, but hey, we're all coping in this extra lockdown, and yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to show you lemon curd, which can be used for a variety of recipes, whether it's lemon meringue pie. There's a beautiful Italian recipe that we can share as well later in the chat. Also, it's good for gifts, gifts for a teacher or Mother's Day, or just your friendly neighbour who may have done an errand for you. Or if there's any free lemons going around in the neighbourhood, then yeah, grab some. And this is so quick and easy to make, you'll be gobsmacked. So what we're doing, we're going to be adding 240 grams of white sugar, 150 grams of freshly squeezed lemons. You'll be amazed how quick this is. 120 grams of unsalted butter.
Is that butter that you made yourself, Wendy, or no?
Yes, it is.
Awesome.
Which is really quick and easy to do as well. And then we've also got 3 eggs. So I'm just going to fast forward on cookie dough, just all the different steps. We're going to put on the measuring cup lid and the mixing bowl lid onto the Thermomix. It's switched it, because I've got the TM6, it switched it automatically to the thickening mode, which you can do independently on the machine in manual cooking. And Carol explained the differences with the TM31 and the TM5. But we're just going to basically be thickening for 8 degrees Celsius. And I'm just going to turn that around, and it's going to take approximately 10 minutes. So I'll see you with the finished product.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Wendy. Lovely. So yes, that is a feature of the TM6. But for those of you that have a 31 or a 5, you can actually make that lemon curd or a bit, similar lemon curd in your Thermomix. So it's just another feature. But when you're making, using the thicken mode, you can pop in your bechamel sauce, you can put in, hollandaise sauce, gravies, all those sorts of things. Really fantastic. But you can find other recipes, as we were talking about, for the other machines. But she can show you the end result, which is really cool. Today, I'm going to show you quick flatbreads. Now, these are super quick and really easy. There is no proving time at all. So it would take longer to get in the car, go down the supermarket and buy some wraps. So it's perfect for one of those things that if you're in a rush and you need the wraps then and there, go for it. I made these today just to test them out again and make sure I knew what I was doing on here and didn't look like a fool. And they were gone. The kids were just pulling them apart and dipping them into Ziki Dip and loving them. So I'll turn you around to my machine. Okay. So all we are going to do, I've already got it saved in my week. So we're just going to go start cooking. And we are going to, and if we can just mute Wendy for a sec, because I can hear her machine going away. Okay, so we're going to pop in strong white bread flour. So just baker's flour, and you can buy baker's flour from the supermarket. I get mine in 5 kilo bags because we are always making, pizza dough or these sorts of things. It is better to do baker's flour rather than plain flour. So if you can get your hands on baker's flour, heaps better. And I've just spilt it all over my screen. Okay, next, plain yogurt. Now, I don't have plain yogurt, and I made it today with the Greek yogurt, and it worked out beautifully. So we're going to go with that. So let's pop in 250 grams of Greek yogurt, not the actual container. And I'll just get a spoon. I love this. It is so easy. And have you noticed that this particular recipe, there's no yeast involved either. So that's another bonus as well. So we've only got 200 there. I'll just grab the rest. Where did I put it? Here. Pop that in. Okay. Then 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now, I do bang on about the Skinny Mixers pita wraps every time I talk to people, the customers, about the wraps, but this particular dough is super easy to work with. So unlike the Skinny Mixers one, which is quite sticky, it's a lovely wrap, but it's not like this. And you do have to prove it, whereas this one, you don't have to prove it at all. It's just go, go, go. So then we put in salt and some sugar. So you just pop the lid on and we'll mix that for 15 seconds. Whilst that is mixing, I'll just bring you away from there. Whilst that is mixing, I'm just going to let you know what the purchase benefits are this month. So if you don't have a Thermomix or you're thinking of upgrading your Thermomix, the price is $2,359, and this month you've got a choice from yesterday. So with the purchase, you can get a ThermoServe and the latest cookbook. Awesome. Or you can still choose for the rest of the month, you can choose a bread mat and bread tin. So that's really cool that you can have either or. So I'll bring you back to my machine. And next, we are just going to do the kneading function. And I do need to wipe that screen. Never said I was a clean cook. Next. So scrape down the sides. You will find that it kind of resembles breadcrumbs. So if you have a look, so scrape down the side because you just want to get that yogurt that has stuck onto the side down and back into your mix. And then we're going to knead that for 1 minute. That's kneading away now. So who's made these wraps? Can you comment in the group chat if you've made these wraps before? So that's going to go for a quick minute, and I'm just going to talk about the half price offer whilst that's kneading. So if anyone has a TM6 and you are thinking about, Kurt, what's the recipe? Can someone read out the question to me? I just saw a question then. So if you were thinking of joining the business, half price business kit, what does that mean? If you've got a TM6 already, it's $62.50. What do you get? You get a Thermo serve, you get a bread mat, and you get a carry bag. That's a value of $340. If you try it out for 60 days, realize that it's not for you, you get to keep all those products. So if there's any of you out there that are thinking, you know, I could do this, I could do what she's doing, just reach out at the end or reach out to your consultant, and they will send you out a really quick video on all the information. So that has done, and I'm going to show you now how these turn out. So I'm just going to make one for you. So that's what the dough looks like. I'm going to bring you over here, down to here. All right, now little tip for those of you that haven't seen it, that little button there where your blades are, just twist it when you're trying to get dough out, and it will sort of push it all out for you, so you don't have to try and get it out. So we're just going to, and I'm going to do this super quick. So what you're going to do, if you're at home, I'm only doing one, but you would roll it like that on a non-stick mat, and we're going to cut it into 12. Now, if you have one of these, you are not to use a knife on it. Why? Because it's fiberglass and it will, you know, tear through and you won't be able to use it. So what we will do is we just use our spatula, and we're going to cut it into 8. So I just cut, you know, roughly. There we go. And you could make them into little balls, but I'm doing this super quick so you can see one and see how it cooks on the fry pan, which I will turn on now quickly. Let that warm up. Okay, so you just roll it into a ball, and then you will need a bit of flour. So put a tiny bit of flour down there, squish it, and we're just going to, I'm rustic here. If you want to get, if you've got the bread mat, which they all sell them now with the circles, you want it to be about 20 centimeters. But you can see it's really not a sticky dough. It's really easy to work with. So you're just going to roll it out into, and it's quite a strong dough as well. And if you find that it sticks, don't be afraid to put some more flour on and just roll it out. And then onto a hot oven, I mean, not a hot oven, a hot fry pan, where you're going to put this, and it's 1 minute each side. So I'll bring you around and show you how quick these little wraps. And tonight we are having, with this wrap, we're actually going to be having some pork gyros, the quick pork gyros with tzatziki dip. So really, really yummy. So I'll show you this. So around here, we're just going to pop it onto your fry pan, and you can see it. So it says 1 minute each side, but you'll actually see the consistency of it starting to change. So I'm going to bring the camera in. It's like watching a kettle boil, isn't it? So, and then you can just lift it up. Don't do this at home with your fingers, use tongs, but lift it up and see if it's ready. Let's got a couple more seconds on there. And you can see sort of on this side, it will start to sort of it just changes. See how it's changing? Can you see anything? Maybe not.
I have a question for you, Kerr.
Yeah.
Do you think you can roll, like not really roll, but press your bread dough with a tortilla press?
Absolutely. If you're lucky enough to have one of them, use that. Absolutely, for sure. Okay, so I can see if that's about 5 seconds off. So I hadn't preheated my pan, so that's why this has taken a little bit longer. But there you go. So it's all sort of changed there. So I'm going to flip that over. Look at that. And then this side will cook a bit differently. But whilst that's cooking, I'll show you the end result because I do have 2 left from today. So this is how they end up. And they're flexible. They don't break. But you just saw how quickly I did it. And here we go. Here's the next one. So that's ready. Now, tip here. If you want them to be flexible and stay flexible, what I suggest you do is keep them in a tea towel. So as you are cooking them, pop them in here. Once it's cooked, still hot, that's fine. Pop them in a tea towel, keep them nice and warm, and they kind of steam each other and just make them a bit more sort of, I don't know, durable. But that's how you do them. So really, really cool. Any questions at all with regards to the wraps? No? Okay, I think we're going to go back over to Wendy if her curd is done. Wendy, is your curd done?
Yes, it is, to perfection.
Awesome. Let's
You have
go
to
over
cook,
to you.
you have to cook the things straight away once you've done the dough.
No, I don't see why you'd have to. You could pre-prepare the dough, absolutely. I would just pull it out of the fridge. So if you pop it in, if you make it in the morning, pull it out of the fridge and just let it sit maybe for sort of 15, 20 minutes to let it sort of warm up a bit. And then it's more flexible because you want it to be flexible to roll it out.
And how long do they last? Make them?
With everything fresh, I would say. So I haven't made these particular wraps until today, but these were highly recommended to me. But the wraps that I normally make only last a day because you've got no preservatives and no additives. In saying that, I'll do a big batch and I normally freeze them and then pull them out the morning that I'm ready to make them, and they only take a tiny bit to defrost. I'm assuming that this recipe, they would be very similar. So you could try that. But just make sure, because I've actually had this one out in the open and I haven't had it sitting under the tea towel, and already I can feel that it's starting to crack a little. So do that step at the end, guys, with your tea towel, keeping them all warm and keeping them together, and then they will stay durable without cracking, storing them that way.
Great.
Thanks, Rhonda. Okay,
Thursday.
over to Wendy.
Thank you. Actually, with the wraps as well, I'll give a go with some gluten-free pastry flour that we have. It's not the same as the bread improver one because that's full of gluten, but I'll give the pastry flour, I've got to go and see how they turn out for a gluten-free alternative for anyone who's celiac or gluten-free like me. Anyway,
Thanks,
back
Wendy.
to lemon curd. So I'll just show you the contents. So there's the beautiful lemon curd. It took a total of 10 minutes. I did do the smaller version of 600 grams today. There is an alternative 1200 that you can do on Cookadoo. There's also a keto version, so it doesn't use the sugar, it used monk's fruit and a smaller version again. So there are some flexible recipes for the lemon curd depending on how your dietary intake is. So what I've done here, now you do have to be careful because it is warm when it comes out of the Thermomix. But just as a little idea, you can put it in a little jar as a little gift or give to your mum or your mother-in-law. Use it, as I said before, for a lemon meringue pie, which I promised a girlfriend that I will do for her. So this is from the basic cookbook that comes with your TM6. There's lots of good information in here, lots of little cheat sheets at the back as well. So it's really worth opening this one up and having a read. And then there is also on the new cookbook, which is one of the prizes today, is Edna's lemon curd tea cakes, which also look divine. So I may give those a go, as well as lemon meringue. There's a beautiful Italian donut recipe for a citrus curd as well, which you can do, which has a mix of orange and lemon in. But yeah, have a go, quick and easy. Good old fashioned, even just in some cupcakes, or as my dad would love, on bread. And hello, Sue in New Zealand, for watching and tuning in. So my sister lives in New Zealand and she's supporting me. So I'm going to give her a quick shout out. Love you and miss you and hope.
Hi, Sue. We love that you can
hi,
cross in from New Zealand.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
I'm all done. So any lemons around the neighbourhood, on Marketplace or the free Facebook groups, there's so many around Parkdale at the moment. So go and grab your lemons, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Wendy. So now we're going to cross over to Michelle, because I believe that her potatoes should be done now. Am I correct, Michelle?
Yes, Kirsten, they've just finished. In fact, what I had to do was just check when the 15 minutes were up to make sure that they were not lumpy. And I did need an extra few minutes because some of the pieces were a little bit hard still. But this is the result of literally just cooking the potato in the milk cream liquid.
Beautiful.
So all I need to do now is add some butter and the salt and pepper. And I'm going to mix that now in 10-second increments. Sorry, I'll just move my camera back. 10-second increments only. Now, the tip here is not to overmix your potatoes, because that is when you get your real gluey consistency, because the potatoes are actually breaking down the structure. I'll just do 10 seconds at a time.
And it is really important, guys, for her, as she said, doing this now, you do need to check it, because you don't want to take it sort of past it and then it becomes glue-like, and it's not nice at all.
And the other tip as well is not to mix it on a speed stronger than 3, faster than 3.
There you go, Debbie. She must have read your mind, because as you were typing it, she answered your question. So, yeah, 2.5.
I'll just check that. Well, guys, I think this is enough, to be honest, because while it's cooking, you get this beautiful consistency anyway. So this is my mash. And I'm going to put that into a thermo server. What I did just a few moments ago is I tipped out some boiling water, and that helped just to heat up the thermoserve just a little bit more, especially on these cold days. And it will help to keep your food hot up to like 2 hours or cold. So I'll just pop that in my thermoserve and we'll have that for dinner tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. And I cannot believe that was your first time presenting. What a superstar. You know, we all get nervous before we have to do these things, but you didn't show any of your nerves, and just amazing. So thank you. And yes, the thermoserve there, that oval one that she's using, is actually one of our host rewards. So if you wanted to invite people along to one of these, 2 people, and you can get those at a discounted price. If someone purchases, then you can get that oval thermoserve for free. Now, Shana just asked a question. What was that? I'll just have a quick look in the...
use the butterfly for mashed potato.
No, you don't. And I'll give you a tip also. I shouldn't be saying this because I'm a team leader. I don't use the butterfly for really anything. I use it for whipping cream and maybe making butter, but that is it. I don't use it in my risottos. I don't use it for mashing potato, anything like that, because I find that sometimes it does come off if you haven't put it on the right way, and you can hear the clunk, 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 and it can be a bit of a pain in the ass. So don't always use that. So you don't have to, Shana. Okay, aperol spritz time. We all need this in lockdown. I've been really excited to try this particular dish. Now, there are a few processes, but this is a really good one that you can make ahead of time. Have it in your freezer ready to go. Someone comes over, few more quick steps and you're done. So this is manual cooking because this isn't in Cookadoo. It is only in our book. And remembering our competition today. So everybody that has attended today is going into, I'm going to put everyone's name in one of those spin the wheel things after we have done this, and I will notify you all who has won. So we will do that probably tomorrow, I might say, but yeah, so it is in here and it's a beautiful summer dish. So what we're going to do, did someone just ask a question?
Yes, I have a question. Is the book that is the free gift with purchase for August?
Yes, it is. So that is the particular book and it's just beautiful. So you have that, as I said before, you have the option where you can buy the Thermomix and get this and a Thermo serve, just the round one, or you can choose the bread mat and the bread tin. So really, really cool, guys. Oh, and we have 36 months interest-free back. So if you've got any friends that have been sitting on the fence because they didn't know or they can't afford, let them know. Okay, let's do this. So the first step is we get some oranges, and I'm going to just talk you through this part because you don't need to see it because you've all got a Thermomix and you know how to put things in there and blitz it. So we just have 5 blood oranges, about 500 grams, and we just pop them in. Take out any pips. Well, it says take out pips, but do you know what? When you're blending things in your Thermomix, because it does it so powerfully, I'll leave them in because if I know that I'm blitzing things up, if there's only a few pips in there, they're going to be blended down anyway. So you can take them out if you like. But we pop that in and then we pop in 200 grams of sparkling mineral water and 250 grams of Prosecco. So we pop that in and we've got, that's it. And then we pop it in ice cube trays. So we blitz it for 1 minute on speed 8 and pop it in the freezer. Now, I found that I didn't have enough ice cube trays because it made quite a lot. So what I did is put some in ice cube trays and then, and it worked really well, just a flat style container. So you can see here, so not something that's rather deep. And then I just turned it out. I didn't have to wait for it to melt a little bit, like you have to wait sometimes 15 minutes if you're making ice creams and things. But I just, yeah, you could use soda water. Don't see why that would be a problem. But yeah, so, and then just plonked it out and cut it. So this is what we have here. Okay, so this is Prosecco, blood oranges. Now I cheated. I didn't have blood oranges. I just used oranges, but I wanted it to look pretty. I wanted to have that little bit of red. So I may have put a little bit of red dye in there. Sometimes you've just got to do these things. So those for the anti-red dye, I'm sorry. But yeah, so I just put, so just to give it that blood orange look rather than just an orange look because it's quite pale. The next step is we get our aperol spritz. So if you don't know what that is, you can find it in your grog shops. It's a lovely summer drink for those that like it. And so 200 grams of aperol spritz and 100 grams of sugar. You pop it in and cook it for 5 minutes. Leave it to cool. So you've got your syrup. And what I've done, this is where we're up to. So you let that sugar syrup or aperol syrup cool down. And then you have got, and this is what it looks like. So it's nothing fancy. You let it cool down. I'm going to follow the recipe from here. So it's asked me to leave some in my bowl. So half in my bowl, which I've got there, and that's cooled down nicely. And then it says to add all of your cubes. So I'll just check that it wants me to put in. Yep. So we're popping it in, and I don't know whether it's the oranges or what it is, but I have found that these will like blitz quite easily. It's not like ice blocks. So I'll pop them in, try and get them all in there.
Question.
Yeah.
Can you use soda water instead of mineral water?
Yes, you can. You could. I don't see why there'd be a problem. I would definitely try that. You could, yeah, change this recipe up quite a bit actually. And then we're going to blend 30 seconds, speed 9. So when we're doing this and we've got sort of ice things in there, what you'll find when you're making sorbets or any sort of stuff, we'll use a clean one, that might help. You will find if it makes a funny whirring sound, it means that all the ice has moved up a bit and the blades are just spinning. So when that happens, you just add a little bit of liquid. In this case, I'm going to add a little bit of sugar syrup if it starts making that noise. But when your Thermomix is on, you are only to use this spatula. And that's because this guard here has been designed so you can put it in, help turn everything around, but you're not going to chew up your spatula in your food and have to chuck it all out. So that's why that's really good. So we're doing 30 seconds, speed 9. So let's do manual. "30 seconds, speed 9. Yeah. Okay. I haven't made this before, guys, so let's see how it works. So then what does it say? Yep, done. All right. So now what we are going to do is I'm going to grab my little spoon, which I can't find. Here we are. Grab one of these spoons, just an ice cream scooper. And, oh, yeah, this is going to be good. Pop it into our bowl. I'm doing it behind the scenes, so it looks really good when I show you. Okay, out of my spoon, there we go. And another one. And I will show you the bowl in a sec. We'll do one more. Grab our bowl. Has anyone else made this at all? Yeah. Team?
No, I haven't made it.
No, not yet.
Okay. One thing about being a consultant is we all swap ideas and try all the new recipes and everything. So that's kind of cool. But look at this. Okay. So my scoops aren't ideal. All right. But look at this, right? So if someone came to you, this is aperol spritz sorbet. And then for the final bit, we're going to put that sugar syrup on the top.
Oh my goodness.
Now I'm going to have to try this on screen because it still is the weekend, so I can. And I'll tell you whether it's worth recommending or not. Yeah, it's definitely worth recommending. I'll show you the rest in the bowl because it makes, oh my God, that's really, really good, guys. Try this recipe. It makes heaps, but it's all in there. So I've messed around with it. But, you know, or you can do it in a little dessert, bring it out as a little dessert without much of the sugar syrup. But I'm telling you now, I haven't drunk very often the aperol spritz, but I think I'm now a fan. So there's that. Now, do we have any more things that we have to cross to, guys? Or are we pretty much all done?
I think that's all done. Unless anyone else wants to do or show anything.
No? Okay. Great. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today. Please put in the chat box, as I said at the very start, if there's things you would like to see. Our team want to help you, inspire you. So please mention anything. No worries, Linda. Thank you all for coming. Stay safe, stay sane in lockdown, and we will bring some more of these to you soon. See you later. Bye. I'll just stop recording, guys.
Well, I have to say, I just tried the mashed potato